bring in right now senior criminal lawyer Tanveer Ahmed, who's joining us for a larger perspective on how, soon this extradition might be and if at all it's going to actually happen. Mr. Mir, appreciate you taking the time out and joining us. The sheer fact, Mr. Mir, that you had Mehul Choksi, who's traveled to Europe because of his health conditions. He was detained in a hospital. Will his health grounds somewhere down the line be an impediment in his extradition? Or could the legality of his arrest be challenged on health grounds?
Well, thank you very much for having me on the program. So just a few points. The extradition request from Government of India based on a warrant issued by a court of competent jurisdiction. And let me put it on record that the Directorate of Enforcement already has filed 3 separate charge sheets against Mr. Mehul Choksi. So therefore, insofar as our law enforcement agencies, be it state or federal, and federal in this case, that is both federal, one is CBI and one is the Directorate of Enforcement, do have a strong indictment against Mr. Choksi. Point number 2, how this will be done is that a man can be extradited either from Belgium or from England only if there exists a treaty where there is a bilateral and duality of the offense. By duality of offense, I mean that it should be an offense in India and it should also be the same offense in Belgium as well. Now, bank fraud, forgery are dual offenses both in India as well as Belgium. So there's not going to be some kind of a stumbling block on that count. Now, what happens in Belgium is that Belgium is governed by the European Convention of Extradition. The European Convention of Extradition is far more stiff than United Kingdom's when it comes to violation of human rights, politically surcharged atmosphere, and lack of fair trial. I would like to just, also inform your viewers, and you will be well aware that the Government of India has been unsuccessful in seeking the extradition of fugitive arms dealer Sanjay Bhandari. Recently, we lost the case in the UK High Court on an appeal filed by him that the trial, extradition, and subsequent trial in India will be fraught with abuse of human rights, and there is no possibility of fair trial at all. Now, how does the Government of India and lawyers and all bureaucrats and law enforcement agencies who will travel down to Belgium after the diplomatic channels have been called into play is to file a formal case seeking extradition in a court of competent jurisdiction in Belgium? How do you avoid the biggest stumbling block, which is that how do you assure now the Belgian judge, the judicial magistrate, that if this gentleman is given back to India in whatever condition, his trial will not be fraught with human rights violations and there will be a fair trial, which means we must give an assurance to the European court that if Mehul Choksi is allowed to be got back, we will immediately bail him out.
But sir, I want to ask you one very quick question before I let you go. The sheer fact that, we've spoken about the laws that govern Belgium, that how it might be, different because his case is in India to argue in a foreign country. But in the midst of all of this, sir, there is one underlying question that he's an Antiguan citizen. How much does that weigh in now?
That doesn't matter at all in Belgium. Now, there is one thing that Mr. Choksi's wife is a permanent citizen of Belgium. But Mr. Choksi is only on an F-type residency, which means temporary residency alive only for a period of 5 years. F+ residency in Belgium means permanent residency. So therefore, for the purposes of excluding nationals or discretionary exercise of nationals, the Government of Belgium and the judge in Belgium will have no scope and no, nothing to say to Mr. Choksi on that count. I don't think he will have any comfort on that count. The only comfort which his lawyers will set up is that if you send him to India, the political atmosphere is so surcharged against him that he's never going to get a fair trial.
All right. So before I let you go, sir, once again, sorry, to come in, but just paraphrasing everything, health grounds could be a big impediment and a roadblock in bringing him back. And whatever we are looking at a couple of years from now, correct?
We are looking at not a couple of years, but we are looking at least about a year in the first judicial inquiry.
Okay.
Then we are looking at series of appeals.
All right, series of appeals, and health will be a big factor, which will play in all of that. Thank you.
Health should not
Okay.
be a factor. What should be a factor is how Indian arranged and Indian engaged lawyers will give a guarantee on no violation of human rights and a fair trial.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mir, for taking the time out and joining us, and apologies for cutting you short.